Okay, so Oasis Labs, and we're going to be demoing on-chain digital credentials and selective disclosure. So Oasis Labs is a blockchain company, and the idea is that we are helping users take control of their data. And one way in which we're doing this is providing verifiable credentials or decentralized identity to users. So we're going to solve today, or we're going to show you how we're solving. This is the product. Is for people just like us, we have our own verifiable information on chain. We can then use that same information, that decentralized identity information, to participate in any blockchain protocol. So for instance, in the last presentation, we saw that there was like an off-chain partner used for KYC, KYB. Well, you can just put this on chain, do it once, never do it again. So that's one thing that we're trying to uniquely offer. And then, of course, you can selectively disclose pieces of information, which we'll see in a bit, approve information, revoke information, so that the data and identity credentials remain in the hands of users and not in the hands of companies other than the trusted issuer. So when, for instance, when you're applying for like an apartment or something like that, or a mortgage, you don't give away your entire data, you give away just the pieces that they need to know. So it's not like you're just sending over your entire life for them to forge loans in your name. That's not super cool. Okay. So then the verifiers, you would think that they might not get so much out of this, but in fact, it reduces their risk because they're no longer having to handle this sensitive information, so they're no longer a prime target for attack. Okay. And of course, the cost might be lower when you have this issue once, use anywhere, because cost is now amortized over many different verifiers. And of course, the issuer, which is the, let's say it's a credit union giving you credit data, or Equifax giving you identity data, that's just a further Web3 play and making sure that users can use their data in the most valuable way. And if we believe, and I think as we all do here, that Web3 is an emerging market, it's going to take over the Web2 space, then they want to get, this is their way to get into Web3. All right, so I'm going to go quickly through this overview. So we're going to gain access to a dirty website, and we're not going to dox ourselves, by which I mean myself. And we're going to do that by first requesting a verifiable credential from a root of trust, Equifax. Then we're going to get the credential on a confidential EVM. I'll explain that in a bit. We're going to grant the third-party website access to the just is over 18 property. So this is the selective disclosure I was talking about. And then we're going to access the website because we've successfully verified. All right, no more slides. Be gone, slide. Okay, so now here we have the root of trust. Oasis Labs is offering this thing called identity at oasislabs.com. It's a very pre-production service that allows you to create a Web3 identity credential based on your KYC information in Equifax. So this website's a little bit ugly, but please don't judge it. It's still very alpha product, but you'll get the idea of how it works. All right, so I'm going to click through this, get started, verify, and claim. Those are the 3 steps. And then I'm not going to go all the way through this because it's going to like require me to scan, and then inevitably it will fail. If you're ever wondering why people want better KYC, this is why it sucks. All right, so anyway, we're going to get ahead. I'm an actual person, at least I think I am. I'm from the United States. And I enter my country code, 1, my phone number, 208472507, and then I can enter my wallet address where I want to receive the token. So I can just copy that over here, and then I click next, and it's going to send me an SMS for me to complete, do the whole document verification flow, take photos, take selfies, cry a little bit about how it requests me to re-verify every single time. But then at some point later, I'm going to get a credential, an NFT. I'm going to get 2 things. One thing is an NFT that says that I've been KYC'd. This is a 1-bit credential that's basically as selectively disclosed as you can get, that represents like, hey, this person is probably not a money launderer. And of course, you can revoke this and reissue it, but as long as you have it, it proves that you're not on some AML watch list. All right, so this is on the non-confidential network, Emerald, which is just basically your standard EVM fork. That's one of the Oasis parachains, you can call them that. It's an NFT. At the same time, however, it will also issue to the confidential Oasis sidechain, Oasis parachain, all the data, but stored confidentially. We can see what I mean by confidential. So these basically, this Sapphire Paratime, this thing, the confidential EVM, provides confidentiality using trusted hardware, meaning that only the smart contract has access to the blockchain state and can read any of the transactions that are sent to it. So for instance, if we look at this thing right here, this is just an opaque string. It's not Ethereum it's not Ethereum. It's actually just a long encrypted string containing the actual transaction and other signing data. But in here, being encrypted is my actual identity information, and I'm going to use that in the next step to prove to a contract that to prove to the website that I am over 18. All right, so moving on. This is the dirty website. So you might not be able to tell what it is, but maybe you can. Who knows? But we need to verify our age. All right, so I'm going to show you the code really fast for what this does. All right, so identity information that we want is stored in this identity registry v1 contract. I apologize if you don't want to see code, but this is a very developer-centric product. In fact, if anything, it's really just a collection of code that you can use in your own contract apps. So this is the API. So you have an identity, it contains your first name, last name, middle name, and all sorts of other things that you might find on a driver's license or other KYC credential that's issued in the real world. What we care about is the birth timestamp. But I don't want to give this random website my birth timestamp. I just want to prove to it that I'm over 18. It doesn't need to know any more than that. So I'm going to grant access by calling this method. And then this will toggle inside of the contract and access control, basically a conditional statement that says if someone's calling, that's the sender is in this access list, just like a allow list, give them access. So it's going to be get age, is over 18. And then this is just going to check that it's not expired and all sorts of other things and do the selective disclosure. So note that because we're using trusted hardware in the secure environment, only the contract can actually see the raw data and the intermediate values of this computation. And then the output is only this bool. Okay. And at the end, we're going to revoke it. But first, we'll see what happens. All right. So now over here is the back end. The back end of this website here, this is what I code up. It's a very simple Express app. And it's going to check whether the person who's requesting the website has actually approved it. It's not going to get the full age. It's only going to get the is age over 18. So all this one does is calls the contract. Just call the contract is over 18, and if it is, it's all good. Nobody else, even a storage node provider, even the actual blockchain nodes themselves cannot see the actual data, and they can't even access this is age over 18. Only this approved website can. All right, and then here's the front end. When I click this button, it will grant birth range access using this. There are no dependencies here. This is just raw MetaMask and JavaScript, and then it will verify, and then it will send, and then if it works, it'll refresh the page, and then hopefully I'll see everything. All right, so here's the moment of truth. Just gonna refresh and make sure that the bits haven't rotted in the meantime. All right, I'm gonna verify my age. Oh, here it is. All right, here's the transaction, and I'm going to confirm. Okay, so this is pending. It's going to take about 6 seconds because that's the block time. All right, so this one's a little bit challenging because what actually comes in is not the it's encrypted and encoded. So in Ethereum, what you'd see here is like a grant access to the age range, but because we're using this encryption scheme, it's not like this is an active area we're trying to improve, but this is how it works. Okay, so now if we go back to the contract over here, this is the identity registry contract. The code hasn't been verified, but we see this transaction here 40 seconds ago, and this is just like an encrypted thing saying, please approve. All right, so now once the approval has been processed, I should be able to, the page will automatically reload, and I should have access. And if it doesn't work, it's because it knows I'm doing a demo. Alrighty, here we go. Okay, so it just seems like it's just randomly not going to work right now. Let's see if the server says anything. That's annoying. I'm going to restart the server. So it was like literally working 10 seconds ago. Oh, see, look at that. See, it just knew exactly this. Okay, so we got our website. And then now we revoke the access because we no longer want this website to have it. So this is more useful for when you have data that's like constantly changing and not necessarily this thing that it already knows, because you can always replay blockchain state. But I'm going to revoke access because I can, and then I'll refresh the page, and I'm no longer have access, and I just go through this whole process again, and it will be the same. Okay, so that's basically the whole thing. You can, so in summary, what we covered is that you can create this, so you can create an identity credential, and then on chain, store it on chain, no oracles involved, keep it confidentially, do private computations on that data, and then release it selectively and revocably with transparency and all that good stuff to contracts on chain and third parties off chain, and it's all kept secure as possible. And then this isn't just useful for naughty websites. This is also good for credit scoring. You can release credit scores, zip codes for doing like mortgage and insurance payment calculations, right? And then also, yeah, and then also things like well, other sorts of websites as well. Okay, so that's what I had. So thank you for watching.